Hello friend, and welcome to another episode of The Kingdom Within. I'm out here at the RV Value Mart in Manheim. Well, the Holy Spirit got me up super early this morning and said we were going for a drive, and so I come out here to look at this RV. Kind of funny how he works. He has me going all over the place sometimes, doing absolutely nothing. And I kind of didn't feel like I ought to be out looking at RVs because, well, I just don't have the money for it at the moment, and this Kingdom Within thing hasn't really taken off as far as financial donations goes by any means. I got one donation other than my mother, so it isn't like it makes sense that I'm out looking. But also with my job, I'm doing everything online, so there's also the possibility of that I could do that from the road as well. I'm not sure yet. All I know is, as I always tell you, I don't expect you to believe anything that I say. I follow this Holy Spirit around and it tells me what to do, and I don't have anything to prove that I'm talking to the Holy Spirit except for that Jesus told us that be glad that he went to the Father, because he went to the Father that the Holy Spirit would come to us, and because the Holy Spirit comes to us, even though what he gave us was true, an even greater truth will we be given. And that's what my Father's done. He's given me this truth that makes far more sense than the one the world has. And the Holy Spirit has allowed God out of the box for me. Because I'll tell you, we put God in a box when we try to bend all of the things that Jesus said to make it work so that we can be selfish and think more about ourselves than other people, and that just isn't the way it works in my life anymore. What I know is that love is the way, and my Father's been teaching me what it is I need to know and giving me a whole new mindset. I used to get upset about a lot of things real easy like. And over time he's taught me how to love thy neighbor as thyself and give everyone forgiveness so I can receive it for myself. And since I've done that, well, I'm forgiving most of the time, and I forgive myself, friend, at a very fast rate, and I was very hard on myself for many a year. So this Holy Spirit has given me the ability to forgive me and others, and that's the greatest thing ever. And so it doesn't matter whether anything ever materializes out of my life. I just know I'm right because I feel better and I treat others better, and everything I do just works out. Just like looking for this RV. I have no idea how it is my Father's going to do this, because if you've listened to previous episodes, you know I've been looking to move into a community in Virginia possibly. But he has me do everything on faith. This isn't something where I do what makes sense because I can see the future. Because I can't see the future. So I have to rely on him to point me in the right direction. And it doesn't mean just because I'm out looking at these RVs, like this Sunseeker right here is actually the one that I came out here to look at. It's kind of funny the way that happened. I actually went to the other RV Value Mart, and I wasn't going there when I started. I went out, I was thinking about going for a walk, and the Holy Spirit told me to take a drive, so I took a drive and ended up, well, way down Lancaster way from King of Prussia, so it was a bit of a drive. But I wasn't going there originally. I was just out on a drive because he was telling me to go that direction, and when I got to a certain point on the journey, he told me to put in RV places near me, and it was kind of late, so I'm like, well, I don't even know if it'll be open. Well, I got out there and it wasn't open. But what it did is it got me looking on the internet when I got home, and then found out that they have this one up here, and that this particular RV was online for sale, and it turns out they have a bunch of these C-Class campers, which seem to be maybe something about the right size for me as a single person to live in, that I could not be overly expensive living, because, you know, it's all about keeping everything at a rate, because the truth of the matter is I don't care what I have anymore, friend. If I could pull it off, I'd pretty much live in a tent. It just doesn't matter to me anymore. I still live in a house, but things are changing quick in that category, and I'm going to have to make some decisions coming up, and I don't know which way to go. And that's part of what this Holy Spirit has showed me, is that I'm not here to buy an RV today. What I'm here to do is I'm here to look at RVs and to be able to visualize that it would be acceptable for me to do that for my Father, which is your Father, which is our Father in heaven. Because that's what Jesus said. Jesus said, call no man Father but your Father in heaven. So what I do is I think of him as my Father. And we have these wonderful conversations and a great relationship. And I can't prove that that's anything that really happens, because it doesn't even make any sense to anybody. It wouldn't. Sometimes, friends, I'm not even so sure myself. There's the truth of it. Except for the fact I know that it is, because he keeps making things work out. And he doesn't make it work out in such a way that I'm going to see it coming. Because there's been a number of decisions that led to this place in my life that didn't seem right, except they seemed right all along. And I went with what felt right, even though there was nothing to prove it. I believe that we all kind of go through life and make our decisions, and the decisions we make are the ones we have. But when we seek this Holy Spirit out, what happens is we can have a new thought, one that we weren't able to have before. And when we get this new thought from the Holy Spirit, we end up being able to do things in faith that we couldn't do before, because when we're alone, we're afraid. And that's what this Holy Spirit's done for me. I'm not alone anymore. I spend a lot of time with my Father, and he assures me that I'm doing it right even if I'm doing it wrong, and because both are true, neither are. These are the things he teaches me. He's taken all the truth from me, not given it to me. But what he gave me was a greater truth, and that was the purpose of why he created us, and that's to come to know love by experience. And therefore, he has showed me that my job, whether it's full-time or part-time, is to talk on this camera and post it on the internet, and do the podcast, which I also do on camera. And if he wills it, I'll do it full-time for a living, and this is what I will do. I will talk about my Father wherever and however he wants me to do it. However, since I don't have money, that's up to him, because he has to lead the right people that want to hear the message to it. And if he doesn't, that's okay too, because at the end of the day, even if I'm wrong, I'm still right, friend, because I'm teaching the love of Christ and talking about it, the relationship that I have with my Father, which is pretty awesome nowadays. And that's the only thing that really matters to me anymore. This relationship that I have with my Father is the greatest thing ever, and the Holy Spirit is just so awesome. I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't make sense. I have a spouse, and it's in my mind. And it's the best relationship I've ever had. And how do you explain to someone you have a relationship with a voice in your head that you call the Holy Spirit? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, except for it makes all sense because Jesus told you you could do it. He said the Holy Spirit was the bridge to the kingdom, and that's what I've come to see, is that that's the truth of the matter. But you can't get that by thinking about what it is you can get for yourself. This thought of the Holy Spirit comes from what you're willing to give, not what you're willing to take. So I'm willing to give him everything, because I just don't want anything except for what he wants for me. I really don't have any possessions left after that flood. So I have so little left that they'll fit in an RV for the most part. And, well, whatever doesn't can go. That's just kind of my way of seeing it. I'm just not attached to anything anymore, friend. But what I know is that he's been helping me help other people and do things that make me feel good about myself and about my relationship with him. And it's not like I'm helping them out in great ways, because I don't have a lot of money. I have a job and I pay my bills, and, well, it doesn't matter. The the fact of the matter is that my Father is the love I seek, and since that's the truth, it's the only truth I need. Everything else becomes kind of an afterthought. But as you know, I do a lot of my videos from the woods, because I spend almost, well, not almost all my time, because I have to work. But when I'm not working, friend, I spend most of my time in the woods or on drives with my Father, thinking about what it is I'm thinking about with Him, because I'll tell you what, the thoughts I used to have just aren't worth having, and the thoughts He's given me are the greatest things ever, and I can't make any heads or tails of it in order to get you to know that that would be true. But it really doesn't matter, because this relationship isn't between me and you, it's between me and Him. And what He showed me is He wants me to teach the love of Christ, because, well, He wants all His children to receive the love that He has for them. But at the end, I have one ultimate goal, and that is relationship with Him. Because through this process, He created us for the experience of love. And what I'm giving Him through this process is the experience of love. You see, because I've stopped thinking about what it is I have to have in the future, and I'm letting Him just do whatever He wants with me, He gets the experience of me loving Him and trusting Him and having faith that He's going to make everything work out. That's what He wants. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of the relationship. Because there is no other purpose. God doesn't need anything except to know love. That's what God created us for. And when we choose that thought of love, well, then we choose our Father. When we don't, we choose that selfishness, then we choose that thought that some people call ego, some people call Satan. It doesn't matter whether you call it what you call it, it's evil when you allow it to get away with you. You know, quite often people look for selfishness to feel better when we're feeling bad about ourselves, or we want to know something about us. We think that hoarding more for ourselves is going to bring us what it is we want, and that's not true, unless it is. Because both are true, neither are. It's one of those things I told you about, that there just isn't any truth anymore, because there's plenty of people that are doing it, and it makes them feel good. But they don't realize that they could feel even better if they had this relationship with my Father. But I'm not necessarily here to talk to them. I'm here to talk to people that aren't necessarily feeling good about their life. Because Jesus told you that He didn't come for those that were well, He came for those in need of a doctor. Friend, my message isn't for people that already have what they want and think that the world has everything they need, because they're not going to hear a word I say, unless they do. Like I said, there's just no truth to what I say. But what happens is, my message is for whoever it is my Father gives it to, just like Jesus said. Jesus said that you can't come to me unless my Father brings you to me, or draws you to me, is what He said. The word was draws you to me. So that's the same thing with me. I don't expect anyone to believe a word I say, or support anything I do, unless my Father draws them to me. And those that He does will be those that support me. I have some people actually that follow my videos now, and not a lot, but a couple. And it doesn't matter, because like I said, it's about the relationship, and the credit I get isn't mine, it's His. Everything I have is His. Friend, I used to be prideful, and I used to think I was something, and the only thing I want to know now is that I am nothing, and my Father's everything for me, because when He's being it for me, I don't have to be it for myself, and I can just stroll through this life trusting that my Father's going to take care of me and doing the next right thing that He asks me to do, and I don't know what that is until He tells me to do it. This morning I was sitting outside of my house at about 5:30 this morning, and then all of a sudden He said, "You're going for a drive." And by the time I got in the car, I knew I was going for a drive up here. That's the way that works. And so I put it in the GPS coordinates, and I got here way early, even though they don't open till 9. I'm here at 7:30. So it gives me time to do a YouTube video. And That's what this is about. It doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong for doing it, friend. I have no idea. I can't know heads or tails of anything I do. But if you're seeking the Holy Spirit and you're seeking God's will instead of your own, well, He's going to put you on journeys that are going to suit Him and you and other people. But part of what suits Him is you trust in Him and Him getting this experience called love by you having faith in Him. And I can't tell you how to do it, except for I can tell you all the while. But if you want this world, you can't have what it is He has to offer. But Jesus told us that. He said you have to become willing to die in order to live. And then when you become willing, then He can do something with you, because you'll give up your own selfishness so that you can serve this thought of love. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm just here to serve this thought of love in whatever way that it tells me to do it. And that's the best thing that I know how to do in my life at this point. And this Holy Spirit just keeps walking me down this same path. Like, I was struggling this morning with faith, actually, because, He was putting me out here. But by the time I got here, He once again explained to me why it is that what I need to give to Him is the relationship, and that's what He's after, and I don't have to know what's right or wrong. That's for Him to decide. All I have to do is show up and do what He asks. And if it all goes wrong, it'll still go right. It doesn't matter. Friend, this process has not been an easy one for me, and this faith has come and gone. I'm the prodigal son. He's come to me before, and I wasn't ready to give up my selfishness, and I still thought I wanted something, and so even though I wanted Him, I couldn't serve Him because I was too busy serving the world. Jesus said you can't serve God and mammon, meaning God and money. You'll love one and hate the other, be loyal to one, despise the other. And that's what I find to be true, that as long as I have to have something in my life, then I can't give God everything. But now that I've become willing to die in order to live, and if He needs it, He can have my life, because it's irrelevant. What I want is this relationship and this joy that I have between Him and I. And it's more important now than anything else. I'll live in an RV, I'll live in a tent. It doesn't matter. What matters is that this relationship doesn't escape me again, because one thing I've learned, the process of gaining it and losing it, is that it doesn't matter what I have. When I have this Holy Spirit, when I have this love through my Father, and I'm abiding in what He asked, I have a joy and a peace about me that just I can't have otherwise. I'm a very fearful, paranoid person without my Father, because I'm always worried about what other people are going to do to me, because, well, I've had the experience of people doing some not good things to me in the past, and, well, because of those experiences, I ended up not always being a good person and treating others good either. But my Father forgives me my debts because I forgive you all of yours, and because I forgive you all of yours, I forgive me all of mine, because that's what my Father asks. And what we didn't understand was that when we forgive others, then we can forgive ourselves. But if we're going to hold everyone else accountable, then we're still held accountable, not by my Father, but by ourselves. Yet because we will hold ourselves accountable, my Father will hold us accountable too, because that's the choice we make when we don't have to make that choice if we don't want. But you can't make that choice until you really want that choice. You have to really want love. You really want to have to be at a place where what you have is what you don't want, and what you do want is love. And love is an elusive word that I can't even explain to you, because nobody will know what it is except for the people that do. Because for me, what He showed me love is, love seeks to give to another what it is it would seek for itself. That's what relationships are about. You give up half of you to accept half of them, and give them half of what it is that your desires would be, so that they could get half of theirs. So relationship is sacrifice, but people don't like that word sacrifice, because they think that means giving something they don't want to. And that's not the kind of sacrifice I'm talking about. In the beginning, it feels that way sometimes, friend. Sometimes even now, because I don't know the future, and I'm doing all this, and I've got no proof that it's what really is supposed to be done. It can sometimes feel like that, what if it all goes wrong? But what does happen if it all goes wrong? Then it all goes wrong. And I've given my Father everything, and therefore, come the end of the age, when it's time for me to be accountable, I won't have to worry about me saying I'm not worthy of my Father's kingdom. Because I've come to see that this kingdom that He's talking about us getting isn't there, it's here. And it's any time we choose it, when we decide to give to another what it is we seek for ourselves, and then give the Father all the credit and take none for ourselves, and that pride, that thought of Satan can't get a hold of us because we're not taking pride for it. But He talked about that, and I say these things all the time, but He talked about that when He said, give your gifts in secret, because when you do all the things you do for my Father in front of people, your thought of Satan will always have the power to tell you that you did it for the credit, and you already got credit, and that you didn't really do it for the right reason. And when you start giving your gifts in secret, and you start not getting credit for everything you do, you will get glorified for some of it, because some people are going to just catch you doing it. It's just the way it is. But the ones that you don't get caught doing become your weapons. They're your spiritual weapons that will be in your kingdom, because He has those. You will know that you did things for the right reason. That thought of Satan won't have power over you, because that Holy Spirit will tell you that the Holy Spirit will be able to say to you, look, you did these things for these people, for me, and you received no credit for it. So you can know that you did it for the right reason. That is the purpose of giving your gifts to God in secret. But over the years, how many times did I end up in a spiritual deficit and rat on myself for the good deeds I had done when I was trying to do what Jesus said? So I would find myself doing good deeds, and then later, when I was feeling really bad about myself and I needed somebody to tell me I was a good person because I didn't feel like a good person, I'd talk about those things and get the credit for it. But I didn't know what was going on in the beginning of this, friend. This experience that I'm talking about, this hiding your gifts, I'm giving it to you laid out. Nobody told me, because I couldn't find anybody that had any real answers about that Jesus, because I'll tell you the truth, most of the folks in the church don't believe you have to do what Jesus asked. And since that's the case, well, it was hard to find somebody to explain it to me, and I don't think my Father wanted anyone to explain it to me. To tell you the truth, I think He wanted me to come out here into the wilderness the way I do and figure it out on my own, because that's where the relationship developed between me and Him, instead of me and some preacher or something. Because I couldn't get the answers that made sense to me, I went straight directly to the source. I went and believed that Jesus, that I could receive the Holy Spirit, and I started receiving it. And it gave me what I needed, and that's what matters. So what now I have is I have something that nobody can take from me, and that's this relationship with my Father. There's nothing that I have that's better than that. So it doesn't matter whether I have anything or not. It doesn't matter if I end up living in a tent, friend. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is my relationship with the Holy Spirit. But this is the thing. My Father, His love isn't leaving me homeless. It's just the way it is. Just every time I doubt that I'm doing the right thing, or that this voice has got the purpose it has, the Holy Spirit then will remind me that if there's a God, then there's a God. And if there's not, there's not, except for the fact that there's just no way there isn't a God. If you can't see it by looking around, you haven't looked too hard. I'll tell you, and He's given me experiences that I just cannot deny. The world could deny Him and say it's all coincidence, but He's given me gifts and done things in my life and led me down paths so that I would know that when I put all these things together coming into this place that He's taken me, that I'd be able to take all these different experiences and see that they were not coincidence. However, I can't prove a thing to anybody else, but it was never about proving to anyone else. Like I said, it's the relationships between Him and I, and that just is what is. So, friend, I just popped on here because I got here at this RV dealership early, and I have seen a couple people walk by, so I imagine they might be opening up here before too long. I don't even know what time it is. So anyway, just know that if I can do things in faith, and I came from the dark, friend. If you're struggling, you can do it too. But it's a path you have to start down, and it doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come overnight, and you're not going to get it right the first time, because when you're acting in faith, friend, this thought of Satan or ego, this selfishness, whatever you want to call it, this fear, all of that, whatever name you want to give it, will cause you all kinds of havoc, because it's trying to maintain power over your life. But my Father will give you the power you need to overcome it, if that's the choice that you really want. But you have to want to make that choice, which means you have to be tired of being selfish. And if you're tired of being selfish and you want to know this love of Christ, if you want to know the love of my Father, then you can receive the Holy Spirit. But know the price is high and the path is narrow, and like I said, it's not that I'm perfect, but you can see by, if you've watched my videos, that I'm always struggling to give up one more thing and one more thing, and that just is the way it is, because I just don't want anything else. I want my Father's will. The absolute truth is that I want His will, even if it kills me tomorrow. That's it. I want to go before my Father at the end of the age, giving Him what it is that I would have asked for myself, and that is love. And therefore I will give it to Him until the end of my day, if He can give me the courage to do it, because I've just got no courage on my own. But I don't have to have courage, because He has all the courage for me. Jesus told us the meek were going to inherit the earth, friend. I don't have to be a tough guy. I tried being that at one time in my life, and it didn't work out very good. So, being meek is far greater to me, which means being passive to my Father is basically what it means. It means submitting to His will, and His will is better than mine. That's what I've come to find out. This love is far greater than being a tough guy. All the things that I was trying to be just weren't worth trying to be, and everything He's led me to the path to want to be is worth being. And it's worth helping people and loving other people as you love yourself, and loving each other and yourself like you love your Father. To be in love with this Holy Spirit is to be in love with the Father, and to be in love with the Father is to be in love with yourself. And because you're in love with you and the Father, then you're in love with everyone else, because not because you want to go out and marry everyone, because you pretty much marry everyone you meet, friend. You treat them all as though they were your spouse. You give love because love is what it is you want. And when you give it to others, people start giving it back. People love people who love them. The problem is, those of us that didn't learn to trust, those of us that blamed other people for our problems, couldn't find this personal responsibility, which actually comes through the trust of the Father, to do what it is they need to do and get done what they need to get done in their life. And I just trust my Father's doing for me what I can't do for myself anymore, because I don't know what to do unless He shows me the way, and I just keep putting one foot in front of the other. But I don't have to know what tomorrow brings, friend. All I have to do is be like the lilies of the field and the birds of the air, just like Jesus said. All right, friend. Well, I love you because my Father loves you, and may God bless you and yours.